In this video, we're going to be doing the construction of the altitudes of an obtuse triangle. And with an obtuse triangle, some of the altitudes end up being outside of the triangle. So for this one, we're going to have to do something special for two of the sides, but we're going to begin with the easiest part of it, which is from the obtuse angle. So we're going to do the altitude from the obtuse angle, and to do an altitude, remember that to draw a perpendicular line from a point to a given line, you start from that point, which is going to be this top corner of the triangle that we're using right now. So from this point, we're going to draw a curve across the side opposite from it. And what that's going to do is create a segment where each of these points where this is crossing this side are the same distance from that point at the top. And when we do the perpendicular bisector of the segment that goes from these intersection points, then it will be the perpendicular segment through that point, and so it will be an altitude. So to do the altitude, you have to do 3 arcs. You begin with an arc from an angle like this, cut through the opposite side in 2 places. Then we're going to do the perpendicular bisector of that segment that we've just created. Remember that you need to be more than halfway between those points that we just made. So I'm opening this to about 3/4 of the way or so. And I'm going to change color just so that we don't confuse the first arc and our new arcs. Now I'm going to bring it to the other point that I just found, and I'm going to draw the arc for the other side of that. And I'm going to draw the perpendicular line that goes through there. I'm going to have to adjust that a little bit. I missed. Looks like, let's see, they're pretty close. It does not want to adjust at all, does it? Okay, so that'll have to be close enough. So that's going to be our altitude from that angle to the opposite side, and now we need to do that for the other sides. And to do that for the other sides, what we have to do is extend those sides, because the way they are right now, we will not be able to do it. So I'm going to extend this side with this very light dotted line, and I'm going to go from the angle on the right here and I'll have to line this up, and I'll have to make it wide enough to cross through the side across from it, because we're going to do the first thing, which is to create that segment that we're going to be drawing the altitude from. So I did that in purple here. Where it's crossing the side, these 2 points are where we're going to do the altitude through that, the perpendicular bisector through it, which will be our altitude. Trying to figure out how I want this to face. This is probably the hardest construction. Alright, we need this to be more than halfway, but less than the whole distance. There we go, that looks pretty good. And drawing our arc from that side. And then from the other dot, there's a lot of markings going on. and then connecting those. There we go. And then now I need to do the other side, and so I'm going to need to extend, and I'm going to use red because I'm having trouble seeing now. I'm going to extend this other side that we haven't done yet in red, and moving my compass over to the angle that I have not used yet, which is on the left side. And then making sure it's open enough to hit the red line in 2 places. And I'm going to use purple again. Yes, purple will be good. Cut through the red line. So where it's hitting the red line, there should be 2 places. We'll need to do the perpendicular bisector through there. I use red for this one. Make sure it's more than halfway, but less than the whole way to the other point. And drawing one of my arcs, flipping that around. Bring it to the other dot. There we go. And there's that one. And then connecting with the straight line tool. And it should go to that angle, yes, and it does. And then they should meet at the same point out here. So with our obtuse triangle, we can see that the altitudes are meeting outside of the triangle, behind the obtuse angle there.